Well, good morning and welcome to my YouTube channel. So this morning we've come up to Glencoe with Bruce. So we're hopefully going to show Bruce some areas that he's never been to before.
You have already.
Well, we found this wee beach here at Loch The water is so still it's like a mirror. But anyway, join us and let's see where this journey takes us this morning. Alright, so the first image I'm taking, I'm actually taking shots of the rocks in front of me as foreground up towards the Blackmount Mountains. So the other thing I've had to do this morning as well is because the sky's so bright above the Black Mount, I'm trying to get the clouds. And what I'm trying to do is I've used a 0.6 ND grad because that allows me more or less to put a kind of pair of sunglasses over the mountains, for want of a better phrase. And then so what I've done is I've exposed for the foreground so it's quite light. I've got the still water in front of me, and then I've put the filter on so I can darken down the sky, and that should give my photo that right balance. So I'm shooting at f14, a quarter of a second and ISO 50. So what I'll do is I'll move around and I'll take different images and I'll share those images with you now. Right, so for this shot what I'm doing is the sun which is coming up behind me is lighting up these two rocks in front of me, and what I'm doing is I'm just focusing in on the rock, and then I've got the kind of Blackmount Mountains in the background. But what I'll do now is I'm just going to zoom in because I took a little cluster of rocks there and that's really nice. So just double checking that my camera is level. I'll take that shot. Again, I've moved up to f16 because I was getting some highlight clippings for the snow in the top of the mountain, and there's some really nice shadows up there where the sun is trying to get through the clouds, but it's casting a really nice shadow. So what I'll do is I'll take 2 or 3 little shots. I'll try and zoom in and get right, so I'm going to move around, I'm going to take different shots while I'm in the water, and then what I'll do is when I'm finished I'll share those images with you. Alright, so here I'm going to try some landscape shots, portrait shots, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus in on this rock right in front of me, and then I've got a little rock in front of that, and then I've got the tree. So hopefully I've got enough separation here for that image, and then what I'll do is I'll turn the camera around and I'll try and do a panoramic where I get all the rocks in the foreground, I'll get the Black Ridge Mountains in the background, and I'm hoping that'll turn out quite nice. So what I'll do is once I've let the water settle a wee bit because I've been moving around, I'll take those images and I'll share those images with you. Alright, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of shots of these rocks and make those rocks foreground interest, because the reflections that are on the water this morning with the sun are absolutely amazing, and just having those little clouds sitting on top of the mountains really helps. But what I'll also do is I'm going to try and do a kind of landscape panoramic shot of the mountain in front of me right through to the Black Ridge, so the Black Mount. So it'll be really interesting to see if that turns out, and hopefully that panorama does turn out, and if it does I'll share those images with you now. Alright, so what we'll do is let's walk round the bay and let's see what other photographs we can find. Bruce has had his drone up, so hopefully he's got some nice pictures for his drone. But let's go, let's see what we can find, and we'll just walk up over the hill here. Oh, the midges have started early. Oh, it's an absolutely beautiful view this morning. Oh, there's Bruce hiding over there in the corner. So I've come to the top of this wee ridge here, and what I'm doing is I'm just taking a number of different shots of the rocks, and there's a wee cluster of trees over here on the left hand side, but the wind's started to pick up, so we're not getting that mirror effect. So in order to compensate for that, what I've done is I've put a 0.9 ND filter on, I've got my polarizer, and I've got my 0.6 ND filter on, and that should allow me enough time, 1.5 seconds, to slow down the water. So I've got f16, 1.5 second shutter speed, and ISO 50, and I'm getting a really nice smooth effect on the water here. So, and Bruce has been taking shots with his drone, so hopefully they've turned out, and he might share a couple with us, and we might be able to share them with you. Right, so what I'll do is I'm going to flip the camera over, I'm going to take some portrait shots here and various other compositions of the area. I'm still trying to keep the mountains in the background, and once I've taken these shots, I'll share those images with you. Right, so I've came down right beside the water, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some lower level shots, and I'm going to use the rocks in front of me as foreground interest. I'll change the composition between landscape and portrait. We'll get different shots. I'm focusing in on the trees in the centre of the image, and then I'll focus in on the mountains, and I'm upping my f-stop to f16 because I want to get sharpness, complete sharpness from front to back. And then what I'm doing is I'm taking a wider shot of the loch down here, because some of the trees and the effects that I'm getting with the trees is really nice. But again, I'm still using the ND9 and the 0.6 ND grad filter, because the wind, as you can probably see in camera, is actually moving the water. And what I'm trying to do is smooth that water down, and I'm getting a 1.6 second shutter speed here, and that's giving me enough time that the water's nice and smooth when I take my image. So I'm just hoping the colours turn out and they're not too severe. It looks really nice at the moment at the back of camera. So what I'll do is I'll keep taking more images here, and I'll share those images with you. Alright, so unfortunately my mic stopped working when I went down to the edge of the water, and what I'm trying to explain is I was using those two large rocks as foreground interest, where I could look behind the rocks, have separation between the rocks, the water and the tree line that you can see here, and then hopefully I'll zoom in closer to the big rock, because there's a sprig of heather growing out of the big rock, and then I'll use that as a composition, and I'll share that with you as well. So hopefully these images turn out, and hopefully you enjoy these. So we've taken a lot of shots in the area. We've just tried to get a bit of variety. We've done a wee bit more drone footage as well. But what we're going to do is we're just going to move along, and then we're going to head to the next location. Just try and go to places where Bruce has never been before. Alright, so we've pulled into a little lay-by. I'll turn the camera around, because there's a little lagoon. So I just thought it'd be good for Bruce to get a wee view and a wee nosy at this wee lagoon. Unfortunately there's not a lot of water today, because there's usually a cracking waterfall at the back. But there you go. Just can't resist a shot over Rannoch Moor. But we'll walk over and we'll try and find this lagoon. Right, so we'll keep going. We're just walking by the side of the road. We'll just make sure we're safe. Right, I'll turn the camera around and you can see where I'm walking. Right, You just got to go through these wee bits of trees. And there you are. There's the little lagoon. So normally, over the back there's a massive waterfall. But because of the good weather we've had recently, there's obviously not a lot of water, so I'll just swing the camera around and you can see. And there's the big fir tree. So we'll take a few shots here and then we'll share those images with you. So I think we're going to hike up to that viewpoint up there. And then we'll turn round, see the view we've got from here. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. Right, we'll connect when we get back to the top.
It's like they say the best views don't always make the best pictures, but it's worth it just for the view.
Here's the view. Oh wow, it's stunning. So this is Ranach Moor. That's Loch. And then over in the distance, that triangular peak is Schiehallion Mountain. And as we go back over, there's Loch Annalise, where we've just been. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful up here. And there's that little lagoon that we were just at. Well, that's Bruce starting to head down. We've just been here for a good 5-10 minutes, actually just soaking in the view. We have to really take a lot of photographs here. But we're going to move on to the next spot and we'll catch up with you then. King's house for a wee bacon roll, courtesy of Bruce. And we've just been sitting eating our rolls and all the birds have come up. And there's a couple of ducks. So the wee birds aren't shy up here. How was your roll, Bruce?
It was very tasty. I wouldn't normally put sausage on brioche, but...
We're in the King's house, isn't it? Right, so we're going to finish off our tea and our coffees and then we're going to head up and try and find, I think they call it the Devil's Bucket Waterfall, although there's not a lot of water today, so we'll give it a bash and let's see what we can find. Alright, so we're going to head over the wee moor here and try and find these waterfalls. It's very windy, but that's actually a good thing because it keeps the midges away. Because when Bruce and I were at the shore in the loch earlier, there was a lot of midges, so they've started early as well because it's actually quite warm. So turn the camera around and you can see where we're walking. There's a path for us, Bruce. Alright, so we're here. That was a wee sprint.
Yeah.
Look at the view. How stunning is the view? That's the Buccleuch of Moor. It's absolutely glorious. So we'll keep walking. The place that we're going is here. So those falls there are not a lot of water right enough, but that's the general location. So let's get settled and we'll get back when we've got a photo ready. I'm just moving up beside Bruce. This is how a master photographer does it. Look at that posture. Sitting there, he's got his wee bag. That's it. He actually keeps his snacks in there. He's kidding on it for filters.
Takes you about 5 minutes to get up here.
It does take us a long time to get up here. So if we turn round, you can see the view that we've got. It is absolutely incredible. Majestic, as some would say. So what I'll do is I'm going to start to take some photos. I've done some drone footage and we'll show you some drone footage. And then what we've got here is a kind of classical shot. So what we're trying to do is get the water coming over, but compose the photo so that we've got the mountains in the background. So again, depending on the f-stop that I'm going to use, I'll focus in on the waterfall and I'm going to slow it down, so I'll use a slower shutter speed. Then I'll focus in on the mountains and I might have to bring the two images together so it's sharp front to back. But equally, as Bruce and I were talking about, you don't always have to do that, because sometimes it's really nice to have a sharp foreground and a blurred background, because that gives you the depth of field and helps enhance the image. So what I'll also do is I'll try and step down underneath the waterfall and try and get a shot up the way. But what I'll do first is before I do that, I'll take these shots, I'll go down and test just in case it's too slippy, and if I take these shots, I'll share them with you now. Well, we've taken quite a number of shots here. I just hope they turn out. And where Bruce is where I've just left. And I've been taking shots of the Buckle and the road down Glencoe, and then we've got the King's House on the right. So hopefully those images have turned out. It's really challenging shooting into the sun, so I'm not so sure our waterfall shots are going to be that successful, just because the sun's up so high. So if I turn round, you'll get to see all the glimmering and all the shimmering on the water. And yeah, we're here at the wrong time of day, but Bruce has never been here before, so it's great for Bruce to see these places, and when he wants, he can come back whenever he wants. Anyway, what we'll do is we'll finish up here, we'll head back to the van, and then I'll take Bruce to the next location that he's never been to, and that's a Ralston cairn. So we'll catch up when we get to the other location, and I'll share the images that I've taken with you now. Alright, so we've arrived and we're parked up, so we're now heading towards the Ralston cairn. Hopefully another new experience for Bruce, so we'll catch up halfway through the journey. And this is why we wear wellies, coming up on a sunny day in Scotland. That's 2 days of sun we've had.
It is, it's a record.
Fabulous. Look at the majestic Three Sisters Mountains. Absolutely glorious, and still got some snow on the peaks. So Bruce and I, turn it round. We'll keep walking, and if we see anything interesting, we'll turn the camera back on and share it. Alright, so we've arrived at the base of where we're about to climb, and then climb up to those rocks up there and find the Ralston cairn. So we'll come back when we're at the top. All the way to Glencoe and the Ralston cairn, and we meet Tim.
I could hear you wheezing.
I'm still wheezing. Just getting my breath.
How are you doing?
Alright. Have you got some nice shots?
I was here at sunrise.
Aye.
Oh, were you?
Oh, I left. I was up at 4 this morning.
Wow.
Before I remember
So-
last time we were here.
This is with the rain. This is Tim from the camera club. So we're all friends. Right, I'll shut the camera off now. Alright, so Tim's kindly let us take some shots while we're here. So what I've done is I've just focused in. I'm using a lower f-stop, because what I want is to get the Ralston cairn in focus but blow out the mountains. So I'm shooting at f5, a 30th of a second in ISO 50, and the reason I'm shooting at a 30th of a second is I need to get it dark because it's really bright, and because I'm using a high f-stop, that's actually really nice. So what I'll do now is I'll just pull back and then I'll increase my f-stop to f11. Then what I'll do is I'll slow down my shutter speed so I can get some brightness. I'll focus in on the cairn, and then that way we should get the Glen in focus, which we have. Right, so I'm going to shoot a wider shot down the Glen, and I'll get the three sisters in the image. I'll just put my ND filter down because it is still quite bright. Take that shot. Right, so I'm going to take 2 or 3 different shots, different compositions around the Ralston cairn. We'll do some wide views of the Glen, and I'll share these images with you now. Alright, so luckily we've met Tim here and we've been taking shots of the Ralston cairn and the three sisters. Thanks to Bruce for chumming me this morning.
Cracking day it's been.
And feeding me with a bacon roll at the King's house.
And a brioche bun.
Oh, brioche, fancy.
I'll be a brioche bun and a bacon roll. So hopefully this video turns out. It's good to see Tim here. It's great to see somebody you know.
Always good to see us.
And maybe we'll get to see some of Tim's photos as well, because he's going to be here all night. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do, because you know it's free. And if you press the bell notification, that will let you know the next time I post a video. So thanks very much, guys.
Cheers.
And here's to the next video.